So the next question, question number 67, determine the solubilities of silver chromate, barium chromate, all these compounds. Okay, their solubility product constant is given. Okay, KSPs are given for all these silver chromate, barium chromate, etc. You have been asked determine the solubilities. Means if you know the reaction, suppose we have in this case the first one is silver chromate. Okay, so silver chromate is Ag2CrO4. So I'm just giving you example and then we will solve it. Okay, Ag2CrO4, and it will give you Ag plus and chromate ion. Okay, so it will be 2Ag plus. Now, if it is 2Ag plus, till now we talked about that if X got dissolved or reacted, then X was produced. Here, when we talk about solubilities, that X is called solubility, nothing else. So suppose if initial concentration was say C, and we said 0, 0, and then we said C minus X, 2X, X. Okay. Now this X is here solubility. This X specifically, okay? Because this X corresponds to silver chromate. So if you are asked to determine the solubility, basically you are asked to calculate this value X, nothing else. Okay. If you are asked to calculate solubilities in terms of ions, these obviously you need to calculate these two concentrations here in this case. But solubility is of the compound which is on the left hand side. And left hand side is silver chromate. So you are always required to calculate this X if you are asked solubility. But here we will not call it X normally, although we will use X also if we have to compare, we will call it S just to indicate this is solubility. Okay. And then it becomes easy. The KSP is given. KSP is nothing but equilibrium constant, okay? Ionization constant in this case. So in this case, ionization constant KSP will be equal to concentration of Ag plus whole square, concentration of CrO4 minus whole square, that no, not whole square here, concentration of CrO4 minus only. Now substitute the values. KSP equals to 2S whole square into S, means KSP equals to 2 to the 4, S square into S cube. Means S cube equals to KSP divided by 4. For silver chromate, the value is given KSP 1.1 into 10 to the power minus 12 divided by 4. Now, whatever you get, obviously, you will have to take cube root for that because S will be this value. Whatever you get, that will be the value of S. So in this case, you will get S as, you will get S cube as 0.275 into 10 to the power minus 12, and S you will get 6.5 into 10 to the power minus 5. As these are concentration, always mole per liter. So if solubility is asked, basically why we are calling it solubility, because the compound gets ionized, and when it gets ionized, for example, sodium chloride, we dissolve in water, normal salt, table salt. It will get dissolved. We need to calculate the solubility. Solubility will be this X value, how much of it got reacted or got converted into ions in this case. That is called solubility. Now, second part is determine also the molarities of individual ions given. Now, remember S we have calculated here. So if we have calculated S, 2S will be the molarity of silver ion. S will be molarity of chromate ion. So everything you calculated. Nothing much difference from what we are already doing. The only thing is that how we represent it. Same thing we represent differently in case of ionic compounds. That's it. Yes, Hashi, whether you call it 6.5 into 10 power minus 5 or 0.65 into 10 power minus 4, correct. Similarly, if you want to calculate other ones, it will be almost same thing, except here you have some tricky part. Okay, so the other ones will be exactly same, so I'm not going to explain too much here. Uh, However, I can just tell you the reactions. Sometimes you are not able to write the reactions. So reactions, for example, barium chromate, it will be BaCrO4. Barium has two valency, so it will not be 2 here. In case of Ag, it was Ag2 CrO4 because chromate has -2 valency or -2 charge. That's why. So it was 2Ag plus CrO4 minus. But in case of barium, barium has valency of 2. So it will be just CrO4, BaCrO. And it will be Ba plus CrO4 minus. So in this case, it will be minus S. Then you will get S and S. So it's rather very simple. Okay, why don't you consider this one in KSP? Because this is solid, just like solid. You have to ignore it. So normally K would have been Ba, for example, and CrO4 minus divided by BaCrO4. But you won't consider this because this is solid. So you will just write KSP is ionic product of the products, basically. Multiplication of concentration of products. So in this case, it will be rather very easy. In case of ferric oxide, ferric means +3 valency. Okay. So ferric hydroxide. So ferric hydroxide will be FeOH whole thrice, and it will be converted to Fe3 plus 3OH minus. So when dissociated, if S produced, it will be 3S produced. So KSP in this case will be FeV plus multiplied by OH minus whole thrice, means KSP in this case will be S multiplied by 3S whole cube. Means in this case, KSP will be equal to 3 cube 27 S into S cube S to the power 4. So in case of third one, that is ferric oxide, this one, you might need to take log, because what you will get S to the power 4 equals to KSP divided by 27. So you will get value of S to the power 4 to get S. Either take log or otherwise take a square root and then a square root. If you are not able to solve, then let me know. Okay. Now I said that in the last part there is tricky. Otherwise, I'm writing just the equation of fourth part as well. This one. Lead chloride. Lead chloride in its normal form PbCl2 will give you Pb 2 plus 2Cl minus is S2S. Now the last one, mercurous iodide. Mercurous means it is in +1 oxidation state. Mercury normally has +2 oxidation state, normally. Okay. So normally it will be HgCl2 like this. Okay. But if it has +1 oxidation state and mercurous iodide, it will not be Hgi. It is not written as Hgi. Logically, you will think that it is plus, this is minus, it should be like this, +1 -1. Okay. It is written as Hg2I2. And there is reason why it is written like that. Because when it gets ionized, it is actually ionized like this, Hg2 plus. these two atoms remain combined and form the ion. Iodide, you know that yes, iodide ions separate from each other. So that's why if you consider it as 2Hg plus, everything will be wrong. Suppose you consider this as 2Hg plus, like this. Everything will be wrong because then you will consider 2s instead of s. So this is Hg2, 2 plus. That's how the ionic form of mercurous is in the solvent. Hence, when ionized, this will be S, this will be 2S. If it would have been 2Hg plus, then it would have been 2S here, but it will be only S. And that's the tricky part here you need to understand. Is everybody clear here? And that's the common mistake. Yeah, common mistake done by students here. Okay, good, Debra. No, it's not peroxide. It's not like that. It is an ionic compound. Okay, peroxide is not ionic compound. That's covalent compound. Current, and this is ionic compound. But the ion which is produced, that in that the mercurous ions actually, mercurous atoms actually remain combined. Two atoms remain combined. That's why we write it in this form, because this gives us a clear idea that this part remains combined. So Hg, Hg do not dissociate. These two Hgs do not dissociate when they are dissolved in water. So, and if you consider this one, you will get correct answer. Ksp is given. Ksp will be just S multiplied by 2S whole square. Okay. And these type of questions are very common in your exam. This type of questions, question number 67, most probably more than 80% times this type of question will be there in your examination. Okay. Now, the next question. Okay. The solubility product constant of silver chromate and silver bromide are given. Calculate the ratio of the molarities of their saturated solution. Sorry. Again, the saturated solution means exactly we are talking about the equilibrium. At saturation, they will be in equilibrium. For this one, we have already calculated the concentration. Okay. If you know, we already calculated what was the value. Just let me see. S was 6.5 into 10 to the power minus 5. Okay, thanks, Ashi. This was the value we had already calculated in the previous one. Now for AGBR, we need to calculate, and then we need to calculate just the ratio. That's it. AGBR, AGBR will give you AG plus BR minus, that is SS. So KSP will be S multiplied by S, that is S square. S square equals to KSP means S will be square root of KSP, that is square root of AGBR, 5 into 10 to the power minus 13. Okay. S, yes, 5 into 10 power minus 13, or you can say 50 into 10 to the power minus 12 in that case. Then you need to have the square root of 50. You can write it 50 into 10 to the power minus 14, not correct, because we are moving towards right. Okay. So 49 square root is 7, 50 will be around 7 point something. Okay. So say 7.1 into 10 to the power minus 7. So S1, S2, just you can have the ratio. That's the answer. S1 divided by S2 will be 6.5 into 10 to the power minus 5 divided by 7.1 into 10 power minus 7. Now it is only 7.1 into 10 power minus 7. It is means it is less soluble. It is more soluble. Okay. So you can calculate this ratio. 10 to the power minus 5, 10 power minus 6 means 100. So 650 divided by 7.1. If you divide by 7, 7 nines are 63. 29, 7 twos are 14. Around it should be 92 point something. Approximately 92 it should be. Just let me see the answer. Exact answer is 91.9. It means, what does it mean? If sometimes it is asked, okay, what do you understand by this statement? You will say that it means uh, silver chromate is approximately 92 times more soluble than silver bromide, because their ratio of solubilities is approximately 92. Silver chromate is 91.9 times more soluble than AgBr. Now, next question. Equal volumes of 0.002 m solutions of sodium iodate and cupric chlorate are mixed together. Will it lead to precipitation of copper iodate? First of all, you need to understand what is the condition for precipitation. We say at equilibrium, say for example, in previous case, we talked about at equilibrium, Ksp equals to something. Here we are talking about precipitation of copper iodate. Okay. So copper iodate, if precipitation we are talking about, we need to write equilibrium reaction for copper iodate. We will use other information, for example, sodium iodate, this information, or cupric chlorate. This information we will use to calculate the ions which will be used to precipitate copper iodate. Okay. So copper iodate, if I write the reaction, because we are interested in copper iodate, CuIO3 will give you. Now remember that chlorate is ClO4. Okay, chlorate is CuClO4 and iodate is IO3. So IO3 and just -1 valency, so it will be twice. You need to memorize these at least for this chapter. So this will give you Cu2 plus twice of iodate. For this means Ksp for copper iodate will be Cu2 plus and IO3 whole square. Now the condition for precipitation. Precipitation will take place if the concentrations of these two ions is such that their product value, this value, is greater than this value, Ksp. It means this concentration is when these concentrations are higher than that at equilibrium. This is at equilibrium. That's why it is equilibrium constant. It is given for cupric iodate, copper iodate here, cupric iodate. It is given. This value is given 7.4 into 10 to the power minus 8. It means if we calculate the copper ion, cupric ion concentration and iodate ion concentration from the given ones, these two, iodate ions from sodium iodate, cupric ion from cupric chlorate. If we get the concentrations from those two reactions and we multiply those as per this criteria, means copper ion concentration multiplied by iodate ion concentration whole square, iodate ion minus here, IO3 minus. If this value comes out to be greater than 7.4 into 10 power minus 8, we will say precipitation will take place. Otherwise, precipitation will not take place. So first approach should be clear. Approach is that if the ionic product is greater than the solubility product constant, this is ionic product, is greater than solubility product constant. So solubility product constant is equilibrium constant. Whenever you see constant, it means we are talking about equilibrium constant here in this chapter. So how we will do it? We will first use these two equations to find the concentrations of iodate ion and cupric ion. Okay. So for that one, you need to understand the reaction, or you need to at least know the reaction. Okay. So write down the reaction because I know many of you might not be knowing the reaction. Sodium iodate reacts with cupric chlorate to produce sodium chlorate and copper iodate. Okay. This concentration is given. So I hope you have written the reaction. This concentration is given here. What is this concentration? This is concentration of NaIO3. Now NaIO3, if you see here, this is concentration of NaIO3, that is sodium iodate, will be equal to the concentration of iodate ion. One molecule of sodium iodate will give you one ion, iodate ion. And this is given 0.002. Is this 0.002? What is given 0.002? 0.02 is this whole. According to this reaction, 0.002 is twice the sodium iodate ion concentration. It means this will be half of it. According to the reaction, this concentration is given 0.002 m. Equal volumes are required. Okay, understand it in terms of volume. Okay, so this is the volume, sorry, concentration of 0.002, and this is say volume V. And suppose you mixed CuClO4 also as volume V. Should be clear now. Because the volume is double, the molarity will be half. I think everyone should be clear about it. If suppose I mix N1, say 2 moles of A 50 ml 2 moles of A and 50 ml, say 1 liter, to make it simple. 1 liter, 5 moles of B. But when we mix it, then the molarities will be half. The reason is now these 2 moles of A are present in 2 liter, not 1 liter. So molarity will be number of moles of A divided by total volume, that is 1 now instead of 2. Similarly, 5 moles of B were present in 1 liter, but when we mixed these two, now 5 moles are present in 2 liters. So it will be 2.5 m moles per liter. So because here it is written equal volumes, when mixed, after that their molarity will be half. Is that point clear? Many mistakes here. Just write yes or no if that is clear or not. Why the molarity I am considering as half of the given one. Okay, good, good, good. So the iodate ion concentration, which is actually the concentration of dissociation of sodium iodate, will be half of 0.002. Means it will be 0.001, that is 1 into 10 to the power minus 3. So iodate ion concentration I got 1 into 10 power minus 3. I for copper iodate. Now I need to get copper iodate, copper concentration also. Okay. For that one, again the same approach. CuClO4 will give you Cu2 plus and chlorate ion, but I am not interested in that because I need for only copper iodate. I need concentration of Cu2 plus and iodate ion only. Iodate ion I'll get from sodium iodate. Cu2 plus ion I get from copper chlorate. Okay. So this one will be again you need to apply the same logic. Okay. 1 into 10 to the power minus 3 m. Because concentrations were same, equal volumes of 0.002. So it will also be 1 into 10 power minus 3. Now calculate ionic product. Ionic product according to copper iodate reaction. Copper iodate reaction, which I had already written, CuIO3 minus whole square gives you Cu2 plus twice IO3 minus, that is S2S. Means 2S whole square. So this will be equal to Cu2 plus ionic product and IO3 minus concentration whole square. This is what it will be. Okay. Here I don't need solubilities, so I can write just ionic product like this using that equation. Now Cu2 plus 1 into 10 power minus 3, I am writing just 10 power minus 3 and 1 into 10 power minus 3 whole square. It means it will be 10 to the power minus 9. That is 1.0 into 10 to the power minus 9. That is the ionic product. And what is the KSP? KSP is 7.4 into 10 to the power minus 8. Ionic product is less than or greater than. Basically, it is less than KSP. Hence, no precipitation will take place. If these concentrations would have been greater than what is required at equilibrium, then precipitation would have taken place. KSP is at equilibrium. So concentrations are less than what is required at equilibrium, hence no precipitation will take place. Now tell me if everything is clear or not. These type of questions appear frequently in your examination. And make sure if you face problem in assignment in such questions, you note down these questions and ask in next classes. Okay. Just see all the steps, try to recall what I have done. I have just calculated the concentrations of Cu2 plus and iodate ion because I need precipitation of copper iodate. That's why. Got the ionic product, compared this ionic product with KSP. If it is greater than, precipitation will take place. Or if it is equal to even then precipitation will not take place. The condition is greater than KSP. If it is just equal, it means it is at equilibrium. No precipitation will take place at equilibrium also. Now, next question. This one is something that I don't think that is required because this is even more than 5 marks question. Never appeared in your paper. Okay. Typical question which I would suggest that I can deal if anyone says that something like this has been taught to them. Okay. But this is literally wastage of time. Requires around 15 minutes to solve this question. Okay. And because it is more than 5 marks question, it does not appear in your paper. The smaller questions which are related to buffer, those are there in your assignment. That is something I'll explain. Okay. So for now, I'm skipping this one. But yes, in future, when we have time during revision, next revision, we can do it. And by then, you will have sufficient knowledge that you can understand it very clearly. Next question. What is the maximum concentration of equimolar solutions of ferrous sulfate and sodium sulfide so that when mixed in equal volumes, there is no precipitation of iron sulfide? First, tell me the condition for no precipitation. Tell me the condition for no precipitation in chat box. What is the condition for no precipitation? Mm, yes, correct, Shivangi. Karan, correct. Mehak, no, Ashi, correct. Divya, correct. Vanna, correct. Devansh, correct. Arohi, correct. Just let me see. Mehak said. Mm, no. Okay. The solubility product has to be less than. Yes, Tuhina, correct. The ionic product, sorry. The ionic product has to be less than, not equal, Mehak. Okay. Ionic product must be less than or equal to KSP for no precipitation. I just told you within, I think in last 2 minutes. Okay. Most of you gave me the answer as less than. Okay. And in this case, most of the cases that will work, but in few cases that may not work. Even if it is equal to, precipitation will not take place. So you have to correct your answers. Okay. 100% correct answer is the condition for no precipitation is ionic product is less than equal to KSP. That's what I told you, Arohi. If ionic product is equal to K, then no precipitation will take place because forward rate and reverse rate will be equal. So whatever is produced comes back. So precipitation does not happen in that case. Precipitation takes place only if ionic product is greater than KSP. Now, in objective type questions, this equal part is very much tricky and many times students make mistake. That's why I'm emphasizing on that. You have to remember equal sign here. Ionic product less than equal to KSP is condition for no precipitation. Even at equal concentrations, precipitation will not take place. Now, we get to the question. Okay. Now it says, what is the maximum concentration of equimolar solutions of ferrous sulfate and sodium sulfide so that when mixed in, so a few points are given. Equimolar solutions, equal volumes. Okay. and iron sulfide KSP is given. It means I have to calculate iron ion concentration, sulfide ion concentration. If that concentration is less than equal to KSP, I'll say no precipitation will take place. Is that clear? Okay. So ferrous sulfate. Now what is given? Ferrous sulfate. Ferrous sulfate is FeSO4. This concentration is given. Equimolar means concentration of this one is equal to concentration of the other one, sodium sulfide. And sodium sulfide is Na2S. These two concentrations are equal. Okay. We don't know what is the concentration, but whatever their concentration was, when we mixed their equal volumes, so suppose their concentration was X, okay? So just write above this one, just write that assuming concentrations of ferrous sulfate and sodium sulfide are X moles per liter. Yeah, but as I said earlier, if equal volumes are added, this concentration will become half. Now same moles are present in double the volume. So when we mixed, their concentration will become half. Now from here, FeSO4, we will get Fe2 plus. Where we are interested? We are interested in iron sulfide because the question is so that when mixed in equal volumes, there is no precipitation of iron sulfide. So we are interested in iron sulfide. So iron ions we got from FeSO4, sulfide ions, that is S2 minus, we get from Na2S. So both of these have, it means the concentration X by 2. It means why this is so, I hope you understand, because FeSO4 will give you Fe2 plus SO4 2 minus, means 1:1 ratio if S consumed, S produced. Okay, so that's why. Similarly for Na2S, Na2S gives you 2 Na plus S2 minus 1:1 ratio. Okay, so same concentration of S2 minus as that of Na2S. So that will be X by 2. From here you got the concentrations of these two. Okay. Now KSP for this one, iron sulfide. Now remember iron sulfide, here it is +2, here it is -2. It means it is FeS. Both concentrations are, sorry, valencies are equal. So this is the reaction. It means KSP for this one is Fe ion concentration multiplied by S2 ion concentration. That is also the ionic product if it is not at equilibrium. Remember, when we say ionic product, then the same thing is not at equilibrium. Means this is called ionic product when we are not talking about equilibrium. The same thing becomes the solubility product constant if we are at equilibrium. Clear? If there is any confusion, let me know. Just a second. Yes, it is analogous to Shivangi. You are right. Yes, as we say QC and KC, So it is something QC in that case. Ionic product is actually analogous to QC. Hmm. Yes, good. Now, how in this case we can calculate whether precipitation will take place or not? Slightly different. We are doing the same thing. I'm going to do the same thing, but slightly different. What I'm doing, I'll calculate the value of X in this case. Okay. And then I'll prove whether solubility, whether precipitation will take place or not. Okay. So substitute the values in this equation. I'll tell you why this method is used here. So if you substitute these values, KSP is given 6.3 into 10 to the power minus 18 equals to x by 2 multiplied by x by 2 means x square will be equal to 4 into 6.3 into 10 to the power minus 18. That is x square equals to 25.2 into 10 to the power minus 18. X equals to 25 square root will be 5. So approximately it will be 5 into 10 to the power minus 9. Yeah. Now on this basis, we can calculate, we can find whether the precipitation will take place or not. Okay, because we have to tell the condition. We have been asked to find the condition. What is the maximum concentration of equimolar solution? And what we have done? We have calculated the concentration. So this is the maximum concentration. If the concentration is beyond this one, the ionic product will be greater than the KSP, and hence precipitation will take place in that case. It means if we want that precipitation should not take place, there is no precipitation. Okay, so condition is not asked for precipitation. Here concentration is asked for no precipitation. We will say the concentration of these two equimolar solutions should be less than equal to 5 into 10 power minus 9. Then precipitation will not take place. So your statement will be that no precipitation, hence no precipitation will take place when concentrations of these two equimolar solutions, that is ferrous sulfate and sodium sulfate. So write it down yourself that if when concentrations of ferrous sulfate and sodium sulfide are equal to less than or equal to 5 into 10 power minus 9, or whatever exact value is, it should be 25.2, it should be 5.0 something. Let me see the answer. So it should be 5.01 something, 5.01 into 10 power minus 9. Is the concept clear what I am saying? Okay, 5.02, that's fine. Good. That's fine. Yes. Devansh. Okay, good. So actually we are saying that if value of X is greater than this one, the ionic product will be greater than KSP in that case. And precipitation will take place, so it should be less than equal to this amount. Next question. What is the minimum volume of water required to dissolve 1 gram of calcium sulfate at 298 Kelvin? Again, very similar question, very easy question, asked in a different way. Basically, how do you get the gram concentration. If you know the concentration, just understand basically it is the same thing. If you know the concentration, you know how many moles are there in 1 liter, because concentration is mole per liter. And if you know moles, you multiply it by molar mass, you get grams. So it means you know these many grams in 1 liter. So if you know the critical concentration, critical concentration is that concentration beyond which precipitation will take place. Okay, so if you know that concentration in moles, you can say that these many moles should be in 1 liter. So these many grams should be in 1 liter. Then these many grams should be present in how many liters? How much amount? When I solve it, it will be more clear. But this is the concept we need to apply here. Try to understand what I am saying. What is the minimum volume of water required to dissolve 1 gram of calcium sulfate at 298 Kelvin? Minimum volume. Why minimum volume? Because if you have more than that one, anyway, you can dissolve, but you can't have less than that. Suppose if you can dissolve 5 gram in 25 ml, then you can dissolve the same amount in 1 liter also. So that's why it is asked minimum. But it can be only 25 minimum. It cannot be 24 ml. 1 gram you will not be able to dissolve that. How do you attack this problem? Write the reaction. Okay. Calcium sulfate, calcium sulfate gets dissociated into its sign like this. And for this KSP is given. Okay. KSP is given. So if KSP is given, you can calculate those concentrations which are at equilibrium. It cannot dissolve more than this one. If you try to add more, it will get precipitated, but it will not get dissolved then. So this is the maximum concentration. S is the maximum concentration which you can dissolve. And you will get this in mole per liter. Means these many moles you can dissolve in 1 liter. From moles you will get mass in 1 liter. It means say X grams you can dissolve in 1 liter. So 1 gram you can dissolve in how many liters? That will be the answer. Okay. So write the reaction KSP equation. KSP equals to Ca2 plus SO4 2 minus. KSP is given 9.1 into 10 to the power minus 6 equals to S into S. S square equals to, or S equals to the square root of 9.1 into 10 to the power minus 6. 3 is 3 square is 9. So it should be around 3.01 or 3.02 into 10 power minus 3. These many moles per liter. Now calculate the molar mass of calcium sulfate, because we need how many grams in 1 liter. So this is the limit. You can dissolve maximum 3.02 into 10 power minus 3 moles in 1 liter. If you go beyond this, the ionic product will be more than solubility product constant. If you have S greater than this one, this ionic product will become greater than solubility product constant and precipitation will take place. So this is the maximum amount. In grams, we need to calculate for that molar mass of calcium sulfate will be 40 plus 32 plus 16 for the 64, 96, 136. So 136 got you molar mass. It means the grams you can dissolve in 1 liter. Okay, mass of calcium sulfate in 1 liter will be 3.02 into 10 to the power minus 3. It can be 3.01. Okay, I have just approximated into 136. So we need to multiply 3, approximately 3 6 are 18. So instead of 8, you can write 9. 9 0 3 4 4 410 into 10 power minus 3. So it will be 0.41 approximately 0.41 grams in 1 liter. Okay. So if 0.41 grams in 1 liter, we have to calculate 1 gram in how much liter? Apply unitary method. Hence 1 gram in 1 divided by 0.41. To calculate this one divided by 0.41, you will get the amount of what? So it should be more than 2. Yes, you see the answer. So if you have not approximated, okay, then you will get 2.43 liter. So 2.43 liter, I am telling you the correct answer, which is given. Yes, correct. Devansh. Good. So I can see only few students keep solving, doing calculations side by side. Not all students are solving or telling me the answers. If you are not doing right now, you will not get sufficient time at the time of examination. Remember, this is the time you can utilize to practice everything. Everything clear, everyone, or not? We again calculated the solubility. That is how many moles in 1 liter, converted that to grams in 1 liter. We need to know how many liters will be required to dissolve 1 gram. So as we know that 0.41 gram are dissolved in 1 liter, 1 gram in how much? Next question. The concentration of sulfide ion in 0.1 m HCl solution saturated with hydrogen sulfide is 1 into 10 power minus 19 m. If 10 ml of this is added to 5 ml of 0.04 m solution of the following, now, okay, slightly tricky. Here, the volume is not double. The volume is actually 10 ml plus 5 ml, so it will be 15 ml total. So you need to know that the overall molarity will decrease because volume is increasing. Molarity, this is rather more impatient than students. Molarity is something number of moles divided by volume. As 10 ml plus 5 ml, volume increases, molarity will decrease in that case. So we need to be careful there. Okay. So if 10 ml of this is added, 10 ml of what? 0.1 m HCl solution saturated with hydrogen sulfide H2S. Concentration is given. Concentration of sulfide ion is given. It is added 10 ml of this is added with 5 ml of 0.04 m solution of the following: FeSO4, MnCl2, ZnCl2, and CdCl2. In which of these solutions precipitation will take place? Now, this question has not given KSP of these two. So obviously, you need to get KSP from NCRT. Okay. So there is a table given for KSP of FeSO4, MnCl2, zinc chloride, CdCl2. And obviously, you need to compare your ionic product with that KSP. Then you will be able to find out which one will get precipitated. Okay. So meanwhile, when we are solving this, someone should get to NCRT and get these values from the table. FeSO4 KSP of FeSO4 MnCl2 ZnCl2 or CdCl2, or if not, I'll just get 1 minute to get these values. Okay. Now, if you understand the approach, even those values are not required. Okay. You will be able to do it. You just need to understand the approach. If ionic product is more than KSV, it will get precipitated. Otherwise, not. Okay. Clear? Okay. So sulfide ion is S2 minus. This is sulfide ion. Okay. Now, when we add 10 ml, sulfide ion concentration is given this one, 1 into 10 power minus 19. It is given. But if we add 10 ml of this with 5 ml of something else, that is FeSO4, something else, the volume has increased. Now the concentration of S2 minus, instead of 1.0 into 10 to the power minus 19, will be 1.90 10 power minus 19 into 10 by 15. Why 10 by 15? Because earlier it was 10 ml, now it is 15 ml. It is similar to, for example, equal volume. We have done it equal volume. In that case, 10 ml plus 10 ml, it would have been 10 plus 10, 20. That's why we said it would be half. In this case, it is 10 plus 5, 15. So the molarity will decrease and it will be 1.0 into 10 power minus 19 into 10 by 15. Now, everyone tell me whether this step is clear or not. Why I am saying that this is this one. Otherwise, I'll explain in a different way. Yes, Divya, we have to calculate the ionic product. That's what we are going to do because we have to calculate whether precipitation will take place or not. Okay, and which of these will get precipitated. Okay, good, Rashi. So just I need to understand that you have got this concept, why I have multiplied it by 10 by 15 to get the new molarity. Good, 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 good. Okay. If you didn't get it, those who didn't get it, I have just applied M1 V1 equals to M2 V2, nothing else. Okay. M1 was 1.0 into 10 power minus 19. V1 was 10. M2 I have to calculate, V2 is 15. Is that clear now? Okay, that's how you get, because this is dilution, nothing else. You are adding something else which is increasing the volume, which is analogous to increasing the volume. Now you will get 10 divided by 15, that will be 0.667, 2 by 3, 0.667. Okay, so 0.667 into 10 power minus 19 means 6.66 or 67 into 10 to the power minus 20. This is what you got the concentration of S2 and sulfide. Okay. Now, if I consider these FeSO4, MnCl2, ZnCl2, CdCl2, all of these will give one ion of iron, manganese, zinc, or cadmium. So it is 1:1 ratio. But the concentration of these, although they will be equal, because we have 5 ml of 0.04 m solution. So each of these has 0.01 m concentration and the volume is 5 ml. So whatever ions they produced, their molarity will be equal. It is MnCl2 Zn plus Cd2 plus. It will also be not just 0.04 now, because volume has increased. So instead of 0.04 m, it will be 0.04 multiplied by 5 by 15. As we did here 10 by 15, its volume was 10, total volume became 15. Earlier the volume was 5 ml, but new volume is 15. So same approach. The molarity of these ions will also decrease. So 0.04 into 5 by 15, that is 0.04 by 3. It will be equal to 3 ones are 3 1.0, so it will be 0.0133 because then it will continue like this. So means 1.33 into 10 to the power minus 2. So we got concentration of sulfide ion and we got concentration of all these individually we will be using to calculate their ionic products, which is same as 1.33 into 10 power minus 2. Sulfide ion concentration we have got 6.67 into 10 to the power minus 20. Okay, now we can calculate the ionic product of iron sulfide, manganese sulfide, zinc sulfide, cadmium sulfide, all sulfides, to know whether precipitation will take place or not, and we will compare it with KSP values which we don't have here. Okay, in examination those will be given. So for example, if I consider FES, so for FES the ionic product will be equal to Fe2 plus S2 minus Fe2 plus is 1.33 into 10 to the power minus 2. Sulfide is 6.67 into 10 to the power minus 20. Okay. So whatever value it comes out to be, it will be 4 by 3 multiplied by 3. Hmm, 32 divided by no, not 8 by 3. Okay. 20 by 3. 4 by 3, 20 by 3, 80 by 9, 80 by 9. Okay. 9 8 is a 9 8 is a, so it will be around 8.88 into 10 to the power minus 22. So it will be 8.88 into 10 power minus 2 m. Now what you need to do, you need to check whether this ionic product is greater than KSP of FeSO4 or not. Okay. So just if anyone can tell me what is KSP of FeSO4 if you have seen in NCRT. Okay. What is the value of KSP? Or I'll get it. Oh, Devansh, thank you. 6.3 into 10 power minus 18. So because KSP is 6.3 into 10 power minus 18, which is much greater than 10 power minus 2, it means FeSO4 will not get precipitated. Its KSP is 6.3 into 10 to the power minus 18. And this is much greater than 8.88 into 10 power minus 22. So ionic product is less than KSP. No precipitation. Okay. Now tell me the KSP for manganese chloride. I think these are given in the same table in NCRT. I remember that. So if you just go through that table, everything is given there. I'll include those values here. I had included that in the question number 67, but that's missing here. Okay. For MnCl2, it is 2.5 into 10 power minus 13. Okay, Ashish and Devansh, thank you. So for MnCl2, the value of KSP is 2.5 into 10 to the power minus 13. Again, the ionic product is less than KSP, no precipitation. Okay, no. In this case also no. Now ZnCl2, tell me KSP of ZnCl2. 1.6 into 10 power minus 24, Ashi, thanks. 1.6 into 10 power minus 24. Now ionic product 10 power minus 22 is greater than this, KSP. It means precipitation will take place in case of ZnCl2. Yes, they do. Correct. Now, in case of CdCl2, if you have that value also, okay, Devansh, 8 into 10 power minus 27. 8 into 10 to the power minus 27 KSP in case of CdCl2, which is much less than, means ionic product is greater than KSP, the precipitation will take place. So in case of ZnCl2 and CdCl2, precipitation will take place. Because the question is in which of the solutions precipitation will take place, your answer will be as ionic product of ZnCl2 and CdCl2 is greater than their respective KSP values, hence precipitation will take place in case of ZnCl2 and CdCl2.